And we're talking about the extremely controversial issue of gay marriage and adoption rights for gay couples. It is about to become the law here in France. Last night, Parliament voted on that bill, a bill that has been supported by President François Hollande. And there were riots in Paris last night. Police clashed with protesters who are furious that this law has passed. And there have, of course, been demonstrations over the past few months. Some people, though, of course, are overjoyed at the news. Same-sex couples who now can start planning their marriages. I think we can have a listen to some of them now. And I just want to quickly remind you who is with us tonight on the debate. Philippe Moreau writes for the Nouvel Observateur. I'm also joined by Bruno Vercken. He's a coordinator of the anti-gay marriage movement Manif pour tous. Xavier Heraud is the deputy editor-in-chief of the gay and lesbian magazine YAGG, and Elisabeth Moutet is a columnist at Britain's Sunday Telegraph newspaper. Thanks again to you all for being here. Now, we were talking before the break about the issue of adoption. Bruno Vercken, you say this is the crux of the opposition here in France. This really is the reason that many people are against it. And as we've just been discussing, there are a few grey areas with this law going forward.
Yeah, no reassurance has been brought by the president about medically assisted procreation, and his position on surrogate mother is very ambiguous. The directive of Mrs. Taubira is just contradicting what is said by the president. I mean, people are encouraged to adopt abroad, and the same argument about these families exist, these children exist, and they need to be protected. And we cannot accept. We cannot accept.
We're not murdering our children, as someone from the right party said. We're not putting them in danger.
Let's not go together and let's keep this on such.
No, but he's right. There have been some comments by the UMP, supposedly a centre-right party here in France. Yeah. One member of that party said that this law was tantamount.
It's up to discussion.
Right, that's why this law was tantamount to killing children. I mean, a member of the UMP said that. We've also had other commentators linking homosexuality to paedophilia. I mean, this has been a very emotional debate on both sides, but there has been an awful lot of nonsense about it.
No, there has been plenty of things said with people against anger. I've been saying plenty of stupid things. Pierre Berger, who finances all the movement, has just said that women's womb were comparable to workers' hands. So sorry, if this is not against human dignity.
Your fellow spokesperson has compared François Hollande to Hitler, and another fellow spokesperson has said Hollande wants blood healed gays.
Let's maintain this debate into good shape. I just would like to.
It's a little late for maintaining it in good shape, if I may say.
It's
a bit
so
late.
Let's go back to his point. When gay couples adopt children, why is the child in danger? Why is there a risk for the child more than there would be with a heterosexual couple?
I think, if I can answer, I think the main thing is when you link homosexuality to children, you make it a natural thing. You're saying being homosexual is natural. Well, I think that's what bothers you at the end. You don't think homosexuality is natural. That's your point.
We think that we are all coming from a man and a woman.
Yes, that's the thing.
That's news.
But that's not the same thing. That's not the same. I mean, I'm curious myself because I'm sort of in the middle of this debate. Do you think that homosexuality is not normal?
I say that it is.
I'm just talking about homosexuality, nothing else.
It is normal, but what is not normal?
If it's normal, you can have children. If it's normal,
that's not quite the same thing.
No, it's not the same. No,
that's
not the same thing.
You're proving his point.
No,
it's not the same thing. You need a man and a woman to have a children, unless you manufacture them. Sorry to use this name. You manufacture them,
you can adopt them. They are manufactured.
And I invite you to reread This Brave New World. From Aldous Huxley. I advise you to read
Do you
his
know
book.
that penguins are homosexual? There are examples of homosexual penguins, and there are penguins in the zoo in America who have
Thank God
adopted an egg.
we are not penguins.
And you have single penguins who have eggs who covered their eggs.
But
absolutely.
Nature, shows many things. I think homosexuality happens in the world. It is not something that you choose; it's something that you are.
But it goes back to the point about
And then you have to
good
decide about
parenting.
society, and that
About
is a
good
construct.
parenting. You might have a heterosexual couple who are out of work, who are both drug addicts, who are not using any contraception, who are having child after child after child, and those children are going on to have awful time.
Right.
You might have
Two wrongs
a
don't make a
homosexual
right.
couple,
You're right.
two professionals with a lot to give, a lot to teach the children, who are not allowed
if it's not
to
about
have
homosexuality,
children.
it's about the children. But the children are not in danger when they are raised by a homosexual couple. Every study done in Europe shows that there is no problem.
There are other studies in the US, several thousands of people.
I would like to know which ones.
Who oppose that, because now we have numbers. These studies have been for a long time
yes,
not
they all
possible.
show for 20 years. They all show that there is no problem.
Children need
love. He needs love.
But not only love. And by the way, marriage is not about love. And here is the misunderstanding.
So you don't think it's about love?
Be,
Because I'm married and I'm married because I love my partner.
Marriage.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But if you want to go
marriage
back to
is
the
also about
Middle
love, but
Ages,
not only about love.
What else is marriage about?
It's about
Marriage
society
is
and
about
politics.
securing. Marriage is about
it was about money for a
creating
long
the
time.
safe environment to grow children.
No, it's not.
No,
No,
it's not.
it is.
Come on, it's
It is.
You
It
date
is.
back to the Middle Ages.
It is. There are plenty of people
Hopefully
who
I'm
love
married
each other
with
who are
love.
not married.
Is
I'm
that
glad you are
is
married.
that not a religious concept?
No, it's not a religious concept. The marriage.
The Romans had marriage.
The
with
marriage
his
has been
definition.
invented to secure, in case of separation, particularly regarding heritage, transmission, and protection of the other,
All right,
has
but
been done.
I'm
And
sorry,
there's
in
a
the
big
19
confusion,
right.
and this is why the
I'm
name
sorry, but
marriage should have been changed for.
the priest who married us asked us if we were in love. It was important for him to know that we were in love, not
Sure,
only
but it's
preoccupied
not
by
the only
having
thing.
babies or having more money because
You're right,
we
and
pay less taxes.
I'm
you know?
very happy that you love each
No,
other.
but there are progressive Catholics. I mean, Christians in my case.
No.
There are progressive Christians who like
No,
people
but
to be married with love.
It's not about
Hopefully.
being progressive. It's about law.
It's a building
Right.
block of
is-
society.
marriage is a legal thing, not invented for love. It's been invented to structure society around
So why
breeding
leave
children.
why
Was at the
leave
beginning,
homosexual
yes.
couples out of that? Why make it?
Because they cannot
make them
breed
exclude
children
them?
unless you say that they can adopt. We go back to the former problem.
Lesbian couples can have
or we
children
create
by
children
natural
artificially.
ways.
So,
It's not artificial for lesbian
and
girls to
all
have
these
children.
people behind you, and I'd like to say that they've been protesting totally peacefully.
Oh
and-
yeah, we
no,
see
totally-
that every night
the
with the
majority.
riots.
No,
oh, yeah.
we've seen
Oh, yeah.
millions
The
of
huge
people,
majority
not
was
a single
peaceful, I
fire,
would say.
not a
huge
single
majority
was that too.
broken glass, and you medias keep on showing pictures. At the same time, we saw these pictures. There were 300 people sitting with a candle in order
What a
to be the light of truth. And every night, in many towns in France, you have thousands of people with a candle.
A candle
who
for someone who died.
who sit peacefully,
died?
and
Who
nobody
died?
talks about them. Your
No,
cameraman
that's not true. I began by talking about the hundreds of thousands of
following
people.
The protest,
No.
and we know that at the end of each protest of this size, with millions of people, not a single fire, not a single broken glass, not a single poster with homophobic things. While I remember several posters in the pro same-sex
Bruno.
marriage about one couple, one gun, one family, one machine gun.
So you're not homophobic, you're the victim. Yes,
No,
you're the victim.
And
you're
what
very
about the
peaceful.
femen? What about the femen?
The femen don't
just,
know.
Who cares
just an
about the
ID
femen?
just an ID card control. While some youngsters have been kept 48 hours in prison.
But the women have been jailed in
Can I
Ukraine.
just-
No,
Can I
in
just-
France they've not been jailed. They have not been jailed in France. Come on.
Gentlemen, please, one moment. I want to bring this back because I can see it's happening around this table. You're French, and here you are absolutely tearing each other apart over this issue.
You're surrounded by French
question.
people.
I am. I want to question.
They have no rule.
I want to question François Hollande's motives here. Was this a good time to push this bill through? Because France is absolutely divided over this. I mean, we've got hundreds of thousands of people, and they're not all, rioting, as Bruno says. You know, we've got families out there as well. Ordinary people are very upset about this. Do you think this was the right time with such an economic crisis that's going on? A lot of people very unhappy. Can you understand that some people feel that this is an elite project that's being pushed upon them, and they don't think that this should be a priority for Parliament right now?
Well, the government can do two things at the same time. You know, you can they're fighting. Sorry.
This one.
Yes. Succeeding, I don't know, but doing two things at the same time. Yes. So it's you don't have to exclude one to have the other, you know. And I agree with my fellow journalist. This should have been way earlier and way quicker. They made a mistake. They allowed the opposition to organize themselves, and it was impressive. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but the opposition tries to organize themselves, and most of the time you've got the Copé-Fillon battle. So you have to admit that there was a groundswell here.
Now they're
There's
united.
really something different.
There is no leader. There is no leader for the opposition. There is no
I
leader.
am a UMP national member, so I can tell you UMP has nothing to see with
Can
this
we
movement.
They can't organise something that good.
Can we listen to Jean-François Copé, actually, talking about that? Let's hear what he has to say.
Follower.
One moment. We're going to listen to Jean-François Copé from the UMP.
The majority was triumphant after the vote. It doesn't seem right because millions demonstrated their opposition to this measure and because François Hollande divided the French people.
He's got a point, hasn't he? Millions of people are unhappy with this decision. I don't know, but has this been a political move by François Hollande that appears to have backfired somewhat?
It's one more example of why Hollande is so unpopular. You're quite right that there's a window when you've been elected. In the first 45 days or 50 days, you can ram through most everything, which is what Mitterrand did in 1981. Hollande didn't do it because he's not the ramming type. And this is just one more, a paving stone on the road to his defeat next time, I think, unless some miracle happens and he changes. But it was badly done in the beginning, in the middle, and right now they're floundering.
And do you think he underestimated
he allowed a monster to be created on the right.
Is?
He allowed a political monster to be created on the right. We don't know what will happen of it. We don't know if they will go to the elections, as Brigitte Bardot said, presenting candidates to the next elections, which would endanger the UMP and the Front National. We don't know if they will do it, but there is 1 million persons, conservative people who are not used to be doing that, not used to be going into the street protesting, not used to being violent, who are doing it. We are taking it to the street. We don't know why they do it. We don't quite understand why. The real motivations, we have been talking about it for half an hour now. We don't see it. We don't understand it still.
I have an
it's a mystery for me why these people are taking it to the street so violently.
I think these people, most of them are not violent, but I think most of them are going to the street. And really, I mean, the large majority of them are completely peaceful. They come with children in pushcars, etc. But the reason why they're out is they feel
Brigitte Bardot called for blood. She said, if you want blood, you will have blood.
She apologized immediately.
She was tired.
She was better than this cliché.
Elisabeth, when Hollande is tired, you hit him with a stick.
Yeah, but he's like that when he's not tired. Let me finish what I was saying. Why are these people on the street? These people are on the street because they feel from the beginning that they're being despised and not listened to by this government. And they have a feeling, and you have this large mass. If there is the equivalent of a Tea Party in France, it will be entirely because the government gave no impression whatsoever of being able to reach across the aisle and being able to listen and to take into account basically the beliefs of one half of the population.
On the other
and there are ways of doing it.
On the other hand,
we
have a socialist government and people have to get used to it. That's a socialist government.
There are socialist governments that are not like that. I mean, Jospin never brought people into the street in that way.
I mean, it just seems like an issue that's extremely divisive, and it needn't be this divisive.
It shouldn't be. If he had acted quicker, we wouldn't be there. If Hollande had acted quicker.
Yeah, during the 2012 summer.
And he shouldn't be brave.
I don't agree with
Xavier.
I don't agree with Elisabeth. The Socialist Party, the government did reach across the aisle. There have been auditions for like 50 hours or maybe 60. I don't remember. 60 hours. There has been a very, very long debate over 100 hours at the Parliament. They did reach across the aisle, but their mistake is that they thought they could have a debate with those people, but they don't want a debate. They want a cultural war. They want to be the new Tea Party. So they've been framed.
No, it's totally bullshit. There is no party.
We don't know. Frigide
don't
Bardot said that you need to candidate to the next election.
You deserve much better to say that these pictures that we are just seeing are violent.
Maybe you deserve a better leader than Frigide Bardot. You don't seem to agree with her anytime. So maybe you should change.
Frigide Bardot. She's actually a very sincere person. She's not stupid. She's just found herself in
I
a
think
movement
she's
that is
very astute politician.
No,
she knows what she's doing.
She's very peaceful. No, she's very peaceful. All these protesters are very peaceful. For the millions of people that have been in the street,
you can be political and peaceful.
She's
political. She wants to go to the elections. Okay.
There is not.
I'd be surprised. I know her.
There was no violence.
She said it.
I can tell you why these people are in the street and they will continue to be. Is that these people?
What do you expect now? What is the expectation?
Right, that's my next point. What happens now? Because
what do you want?
The Constitutional Court is unlikely to throw this bill out. So what will happen? You will just keep protesting until the government steps down?
Now François Hollande is alone with himself and with his consciousness. Okay, so he's alone, facing his people, facing the people of France, strongly divided at the worst moment. Okay, and in order to favor a happy few lobby, there are about 100,000 same-sex couples and about 20 million heterosexual couples.
And many heterosexuals are gay-friendly people who are in favor of that law.
And it is anticipated that this law will be used by very few people.
So
by doing that, it endangers some fundamentals of human and
death penalty
anthropology.
only concerned 3 people in jail at that time. Should we reestablish the death penalty because it was only concerning 3 people? That's not an issue.
It's about precaution.
It's a symbolic measure.
I work in the industry. With our products, we would be more careful. Yeah,
we are a product now.
With food products, we would be more careful.
Yeah, we are food products.
No, I didn't say you are food products. I say
yes,
that industrial are more careful with food products that we are with law that touch human anthropology. So what we expect now, François Hollande is alone with this law. He can satisfy a happy few, or he can understand the arguments of these people who protest very peacefully.
We're running out of time.
All right.
We're running out of time. Is there any...
Just look at the numbers.
You've lost...
we are running out of time.
Was elected at the last election.
I want to ask you both.
He was not elected for Article 31. He was always elected because there was Sarkozy against.
Clearly not. Is there any way that the two sides of this debate will ever be able to bridge their differences? Because it is very harmful to France going forward.
Maybe they should all attend a gay marriage once. Maybe you should come. Maybe you should go.
I mean, can you see any way where you could talk to people like this and move forward?
It's not about love.
Christine, running out of time. Last word to you.
Yeah. Christine Moutet has changed her mind before, so maybe she will change it next time.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid. Thank you very much indeed to all my guests tonight. Thanks for being with us here on The Debate. Thanks to you for watching. It's been a heated one. Armin Georgia will be hosting tomorrow's debate. Be sure to tune in for that at 7:10. But more news and headlines coming up for you next. Stay with us. This is France 24.